What's up, guys? This is Superman coming at you with another quick overview, this time on the Warriors class, and this time on ARMS spec. Alright, so ARMS is in a good spot as of the alpha right now. There's a lot of stuff that has changed. There's a lot of abilities that have gone, and there's a lot of abilities that have come baseline now, which I think is actually really interesting with the builds and the talents that you can mismatch with your abilities. So let's just hop right into the spell book and let's look at some of your talents. So wait, that's not bad. Battle shout. Now, it's back like it was. It's back to like arcane intellect. How a mage's cast increases your intellect by 10%. This time, battle shout increases your attack power by 10% for 1 hour. So it's your baseline buff that you now have back. I'm so happy they bring that back. Then you berserker rage. Go berserk, removing granting immunity to fear, sap, and incapacitative effects for 6 seconds, which is great. It's same as always. Blade Storm. It's a 1.5 minute cooldown. Becomes unstoppable storm of destructive forces, striking all targets within 8 yards for pretty much 6,000 physical damage over 5.2 seconds. That's nice. That's really nice. So let's look at your 5,978 physical damage, because it's increased because your attack power. So let's see how much damage your battle shout actually makes it go up. So your battle shout actually makes it go up another 500 damage, which is really nice considering that they did a big ass stat squish. That's actually a lot more damage. All right, your charge. Your charge enemy dealing 194 physical damage, removing them for 1 second. Charge is charge. Charge is nice. All right, now Colossal Smash. Colossal Smash is nice. It's a 45-second cooldown, but it is your hardest hitting ability outside of a proc execute that you spend 40 rage on plus. So smash to the enemy armor, dealing 3,362 physical damage, increasing damage you deal to them by 30% for 10 seconds, which is amazing. But I'm going to show you another really cool thing that they added that you might want to add and replace Colossal Smash instead. I'll show you that when we get talents. Then you have Die by Swords. Increases your parry chance by 100% and reduces all damage you take by 30% for 8 seconds. 3-minute cooldown. Die by Swords, Die by Swords. It's nice. It'll save your life, especially when you parry that rogue or something. I don't even know. Execute. Attempts to finish off a foe, causing up to 2,700 physical damage based on rage spent. Only usable on enemies that have less than 20% of health. If your foe survives 30% of the rage spent, your rage is refunded. 30% of that. Now, there's also another really cool talent that I'll get to talk to in a second. And you might want to take that if you're all about your executes. I mean, you like your executes, you might want to take this. Your hamstring just hits them for 285 physical damage and reduces their movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. Hamstring is always nice, especially when you have those pesky hunters trying to kite you around. Then you have your heroic leap. Leap through the air towards the target location, slamming down with a destructive force of 173 physical damage to all enemies within 8 yards. 45-second cooldown. Heroic leap, same heroic leap from Legion. Heroic throw. Don't really use it that much. You can use it on your charge in or just to pull something. 138 physical damage. That's it. But it's 6-second cooldown. Your intimidating shout causes the target enemy to cower in fear and up to additional 5 enemies within 8 yards to flee. Targets are disoriented for 8 seconds. 1.5 minute cooldown. Same as always. Then Mortal Strike. Now, Mortal Strike has a baseline damage now. In Legion, it takes 274% of the weapon damage. But here it has a baseline and it scales per level. So that's always nice. And it strikes, it deals 1,800 physical damage and reduces the effectiveness of healing on the target by 25%. Which, that's great, man. That's great. See, in Legion, it didn't really say how much it reduced the physical damage. Here, it tells you how much it does. It reduces it by 25% actually. So that's really nice. Then, okay, Overpower is now baseline. You have it no matter what. You don't have to spec it. You don't have to anything. It's baseline. I'll show you the first talent tree, because it's kind of weird now. Everything's redone in it. So Overpower, Overpower the enemy, dealing 1,177 physical damage, cannot be blocked, dodged, or parried, which is amazing. And increase the damage of your next mortal strike by 30%, stacking up to 2 times. So you hit that bad boy 2 times, because I have it spec 2 times. So increase your next mortal strike by 60% damage. But then there's also another talent that you can take, I'll show you in a second, that'll increase that by more. So your mortal strikes are hitting like executes at 40 rage bent. It's really amazing. Your pummels, your interrupt, pummeling the target, interrupting the spellcaster, and preventing the spells and that skill from being cast for 4 seconds. 4. Then Rallying Cry, it's just your regular Rallying Cry that's great for your raid, granting all party or raid members within 40 yards 15% temporary and maximum health for 10 seconds, which is great. Skull Splitter, I'm not going to talk about it because of the talent tree aspect. I think it's a really nice spell. It's awesome. Now Slam. Slam an opponent causing 935 physical damage. Slam is Slam. Slam's beast mode. It's your filler. Now Sweeping Strike. Sweeping Strikes has come baseline. You no longer have to spec it in your first talent tree at level 15. It's now baseline. But here's the catch. It doesn't always work, okay? So for 10 seconds, your single target damage abilities hit one additional target within 8 yards for 100% of the damage. And now hits for 100% of the damage that you do to the first target. So it's a 15-second downtime. Because you have 10, then you're 25. It's a 15-second downtime. But a lot of people don't like this change. A lot of people want it to be spec'd and be uptime 24/7. I really like this change. I think it's really good. I think it's really good, in my opinion. All right, now your taunt. So your taunt is just your taunt. Taunt the target, attacks you, and increases the threat generate against the target for 3 seconds. That's great. And then your Victory Rush. Victory Rush is always, it's the same. Strike the target, causing 551 physical damage and healing you for 31% of your maximum health. 30%. Only usable within 20 seconds after you kill an enemy that yields experience. Same old, same old. Now Whirlwind. Whirlwind, same old, same old. Unleashes the Whirlwind is still hitting your primary target and slam, striking all enemies within 8 yards for 804 physical damage, which is great. Then you have your Mastery Deep Wounds. Deep Wounds damage is increased by 33.6%, dealing 1,209 bleed damage over 3 seconds, which that is quite a bit of bleed, if I must say, considering that I'm an arms warrior, I only have 15,000 health. Tactician. All right, so they changed up Tactician for the better. You have a 0.90 chance per rage spent on a damage ability to reset the remaining cooldown of Overpower. Live, it's only 0.75. So it actually went up 25%, which is wonderful. Actually, no, why did I say 25%? I mean 15%. What am I saying? Okay, quick math. Come on. Quick math. 15%. All right. Now you might be noticing that you're missing a few spells. All right. That is because they gave you Overpower and they gave you Sweeping Strikes as a baseline. Now, as you can notice in 75 talent, you now have the Spec Cleave, okay? We'll get that in a second. But your level 15 talents, you now have War Machine, which that's what Fury Warriors had. Your auto attacks generate 10% more rage, killing an enemy instantly, generates 10 range, and increases your movement speed by 30% for 8 seconds. So just gave that to the Arms Warrior. Which I could see it being decent. I could see it being decent in certain situations. Maybe leveling or something. Sudden Death. Sudden Death is actually your legendary ring that gave you instant procs of Execute. But now they just added it as a talent. Your damage and melee abilities have a chance to make your next Execute cost no rage, be usable in any target regardless of their health, and deals the damage as if you spent 40 rage. So that's really good. But my winner chicken dinner right here is Skull Splitter, okay? Now, Skull Splitter bashes an enemy skull, dealing 1,138 physical damage. I think this is great because it costs no rage, and it's a great filler between your slams and your overpowers. So it really fits into the rotation really well, in my opinion. So your level 30 talent, as you can see, they got rid of Shockwave, and they added Impending Victory, which is what the Prot Warrior had in Legion. I still have it, but they gave you it too. So Impending Victory, instantly attack the target, causing 662 damage and healing you for 15% of that damage. It's amazing. It's a great heal. It's a great boost from your Victory Rush. And then you can press it at any time, and then you also resets just like Victory Rush. Double Time just gives you 2 charges and reduces the cooldown by 3 seconds, which is great. Then you have your Storm Bolt with hurls a weapon at an enemy, causing 275 physical damage and stunning for 4 seconds, which is the best one that you have if you spec that. Now, your level 45 talent tree, everything's the same. Your Trauma, your Rend, and the Avatar, they all do the same thing. Your Avatar lasts for 20 seconds and causes you to deal 20% increased damage and removing all roots and snares. Your Rend causes 390 physical damage instantly and additionally 1,500 bleed damage over 8 seconds, which is good. But I'm taking Trauma right now because your Slam, your Whirlwind, and Execute now cause the target to bleed for 20% additional damage over 6 seconds. And it can apply to everyone that you hit. So I think that's really good. You just like, in a Mythic Plus, you just go in, Whirlwind, and your bleeds are already applied. It's wonderful. All right, now for level 60. Level 60 is still all the same. You have your second wind, you have your Bouncing Stride, and your Defensive Stance. Defensive Stance can be used in many situations in PvP. Bounding Stride, same way. But I'm taking second wind as of right now because I'm leveling. So it restores 6% health every 1 second when you have not taken any damage. So I can pull a whole bunch, mount up, run to the next objective. I'm already full health again because I'm getting healed for 6% every second. It's the same exact thing. Now, your level 75 talent. Everything's different. Everything's different. So your collateral damage, your abilities and damage, your second target, due to your sweeping strikes, refund 20% of rage. So for say I pop my sweeping strikes, and my next ability I hit for say Mortal Strike will refund 20% of that rage, which is great, especially when arms warriors, they can run out of rage quite fast. Then you have a Fervor of Battle. Whirlwind deals additional 10% increased damage and slams your primary target. So it does 10% increased damage. So it does 10% increase of 804. But then it also slams your main target for 935. And of course that's going to scale higher with your item level and also with your level that you go up. So it's really good in my opinion. It's going to be great for Mythic Pluses. Getting that 10% increase Whirlwind. It's great. Oh, wait, I totally skipped 75. Okay, Warbreaker. I totally forget the rest of 75. What the hell? I was just going over the talents I got. So Warbreaker is your artifact weapon. I'm sorry about that. I skipped that. So Warbreaker is your artifact weapon. But when you spec Warbreaker, it gets rid of your Colossal Smash. So you can't have both of them at the same time. So Warbreaker is going to be probably the go-to for Mythic Pluses. It's a 45-second cooldown. It smashes the ground and shatters the armor of all enemies within 8 yards, dealing 3,362 physical damage, and increases your damage you deal to them by 30% for 8 seconds. So, that paired up with Battle is going to do so much damage because your Whirlwinds are going to hit like a truck. And also, when you pop Sweeping Strikes, your Overpowers and your Mortal Strikes are going to be amazing. Can you go away, Mr. Ice Mage? Alright. Then you have Cleave. Yeah, now that you see that you actually have to spec Cleave, I don't think it's really all that great. I'd rather take collateral damage or Warbreaker over Cleave probably in any situation. Just because it pretty much messes up your rotation and makes it all sloppy. You know? Strikes all enemies in front of you with a sweeping attack for 813 physical damage and hitting 3 or more targets to inflict deep wounds. Deep wounds is great and all, but I just don't see it. I don't see it working in with any rotations really. Alright. So I already told you about the Battle. Let's go in for the kill. Colossal Smash increases your critical strike chance by 10% or by 20% if the target's below 20%. I don't really like that spell because, once again, it could be good for a raid boss that you guys get the 20% every time and you just need to wreck it, which could be really good, but it's in execute phase. The boss is probably going to die pretty fast, especially in Mythic dungeons or anything like that. Deadly Calm, reduce the rage cost of your abilities by 100% for 6 seconds. I don't see myself taking that over Battle. I really don't. Now, this is where it gets cool. So, you keep your anger management and you keep your Ravager. But they also add Dreadnought. Overpower has 2 charges and increases the damage of your next Mortal Strike by an additional 10%. Alright? So, that's a 20% increase of damage. Along with your so increases the damage of your next Mortal Strike by 30%, stacking up 2 times. So you already have a baseline of 30. Then you can get that baby up to 40 per hit. So that's 80% increased damage when you use both charges on your Overpower for your Mortal Strike, which hits like execute. All right, I'll show you guys in a second. And then you just have your anger management. Every 20 rage you spend reduces the rain cooldown of Colossal Smash, Blade Storm, and Deadly Calm. Which it could be good. It could be good. Then you have Ravager. Throws Whirling Weapon at the target's location that inflicts 5,215 damage to all enemies within 8 yards for 6.1 seconds. That could be really good for Mythic Pluses like it is right now. It's leading by a landslide. But you have Sweeping Strikes on baseline now. And you could just, I definitely just don't see taking Ravager. I think Dreadnought with the stacks, with your sweeping strikes, is gonna hit like a truck on 2 targets. I think Warriors are gonna take over Death Sherlock for 2 target Kings. I really do. All right, so let's test some of these abilities out. Let's see how we do. Okay. So let me go find something to kill. Like their damage. Their damage is great. Arms Warriors damage is looking spiffy. All right, here we go. I guess I can show you some of the casting animations. I think they've stayed the same. All right, let's just kill these 2 guys. So you go in, you're just gonna apply your thing. You're gonna set up a couple overpowers up, sweeping strikes with your 2 stacks. Overpowers. Watch this, 4,000 a pop, and then your overpower resets all the time, Then your executes, bam. See, overpower procs again. They're already up again. They're great. They're absolutely great. All right, now show you how fast we can actually kill this pig. Okay. See, look at my what's it called? Second win. I never use it, so I never know the name. Look how fast it just healed up. All right, so let's charge in. Sadly, my colossal is up. We're gonna go in. We're gonna skull split them first. Then we're gonna overpower twice into a mortal strike, and they're dead. That's a 5,000 pop mortal strike. That is ridiculous considering the stat squish. Okay. Now, I'm gonna show you guys what Warbreaker can do. Okay. Warbreaker. Oh, Warbreaker's nice, boys. Okay. Watch how much damage my Whirlwind and Warbreaker can do to these pigs. Okay. Watch this. All right. I might have to put my die by swords here because these pigs actually hit like trucks. All right, they really do. You guys don't understand that when you. Ugh. Right, here we go. Wait for these fat ass pigs to get around. Come on, fuckers. I'm gonna pop die by swords. I'm also gonna pop mine. Now watch this, guys. Bam. Hands off keyboard, boys. You ain't got hit anything. And if you didn't finish them, all you gotta do is pop sweeping strike once and execute. They all died. And then you just have your victory rush, which is so nice. Skull split. Don't forget to use skull split. Skull splitter is gonna be amazing. It's gonna bring you pretty far. Now let's check out our whirlwind damage because we spec trauma. Let's just apply that. There's a little bleed. See how much the bleed does. The bleed's not bad. Does quite a bit of damage. See what I mean? Your overpowers proc so much that your mortal strikes are going to be ridiculous. Watch. Yeah. 2,000 regular mortal strike. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. That slam damage is ridiculous. Look at that proc again. So, Arms Warriors procs are on the best spot I've ever seen. They proc all the time. Really hope they don't nerf the procs. They're doing so good. So I can definitely see Warriors being on top of the damage meter. And I think Arms Warriors is going to be amazing in PvP this expansion. Alright. So, there's your quick look at the Arms Warrior. I'd say very strong. Not fairly. I put them above average. And heading into beta. We're on alpha right now. So, they're looking fairly strong. They're looking really, really strong in my opinion. Get out of my way, little bird. Look at that. God, Warbreaker just hit this bird to half health and skulls. Look at those crits, boy. Alright, so if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you enjoyed the video a lot, hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be popping out more quick overviews of different classes and different specs and giving you my opinion on them. Alright, Superman out.